The welfare state. Its critics argue that it's bloated, that we can't afford it anymore in its current form, and that it's basically subsidising fecklessness, laziness, the work shy.
There's one thing I would agree in that statement. I mean, the current welfare state needs reform because it was designed in the 1950s and 60s. Today we have a different situation. You know, the people live for another 25, 30 years after they retire. You know, they put the greater burden on the healthcare system. There are fewer younger people to pay for this. So yes, I mean, we might need some readjustment of the welfare system as a whole. But there's really no evidence that the welfare state actually encourages the idle lifestyle. Actually, people who say that, have they tried to live on the kind of money that the benefit claimants get? People have stopped seeing the welfare state as a collective social insurance scheme. Yeah? This kind of collective insurance scheme actually gives stability in people's lives and make people more accepting of changes. I mean, for example, in countries like Sweden and Finland, the workers are much more willing, they may not prefer it, but are much more willing to accept the corporate restructuring because they know that it's not the end of the world. Yeah? In countries where the welfare is weak, actually workers become very resistant to changes. I mean, the United States is the best example. Yeah? I mean, of course, 90% of US workers are not unionized and they have very little political power. But insofar as you have unionized labor, these people will, of course, resist changes to death because, well, if you lose your job, you cannot even go to a hospital.
Inequality. What's the problem with it? I mean, as long as poorer people, end up better off, why does it matter if there's a gap between the poorer and richer sections of society?